Hi guys, this is week 47 Project Life, and this week I have just grabbed a random kit out of my stash, and I'm pretty sure it's the November Citrus Twist Kits Pocket Life Kit. As you can see, I don't have a lot left in the way of cards and whatnot, so I'm mostly going to be working with the papers that were in the kit. I've got this little scrap. The blue looked really nice with the photo, so I think I'll make a wee card with that. And I did like that teal paper, but because the alphas that are left in this kit are teal, I sort of wanted something a bit different, so I thought maybe the grey. And I am going to have a hole to fill this week, and because there weren't like any filler cards left or anything, I thought I would make a wee sequin shaker. So I'm using the packaging that held the 3x4 cards, and I'm going to add some sequins from the stamp spot into there. So I'm just starting by creating the background card for this spot down here. So I'm using the back side of one of the papers that I had cut apart already, and I'm just covering up the piece I had cut with some of this really pretty blue polka dot paper. And then my photo can sit on top of that later on. And it was here that I discovered I really like the grey stripe. It's like a diagonal stripe on the packaging from the die cut pieces. So it very handily worked out to be exactly 4x6. So I just trimmed the top off that, and I'm going to use that for my title card instead of the grey paper that I had previously picked. Now I've only got a few of these little die cuts left, so I'm just picking out a few that might work on my photos. I love that rest script, but I do end up moving that, taking it off entirely in fact, because it just is quite heavy on that photo. Picking out a couple of labels, and there's a sort of like note spot, but I like the pink of it, so I'm going to add that to my title card just to bring some of the pink from the bottom photo to the top. And maybe a couple of florals too. So that's sort of the basics of this week. So you can see there, that's where I decided no, the word rest isn't going to work. So I'm going to start by creating my little sequin shaker pocket. Now you probably have seen me make these before, but if not, here's the basics of it. I'm just trimming down this packaging to slightly smaller than 3x4 because I want to be able to slip it into the pocket. And then I'm just going to sew around 3 sides of it on my sewing machine, but without removing it from my sewing machine. I fill it with sequins and stitch up the 4th side. So I also just added some stitching along the join between the polka dot and the white card. And I'm going to glue this label down eventually, and then add some stitching to that as well too, just to give the whole spread a little bit of consistency. Now apart from sticking down all of these little die cut pieces, I don't have a lot to do this week. Of course, this bears actually the last week of the year, so and this is week 47, so I've got a few weeks to catch up, so I'm going to make a real concerted effort over the next, say, week and a half to try and get this 2017 album finished. I don't want to start next year too far behind. I'd like to have this one done and dusted before I start my 2018 album. Now I was going to start my title card, but I realised I hadn't stuck down this little die cut, so I'm going to stick this on the front here, and then next week of course I'll be able to see this sequin shaker pocket through next week's spread as well, so I'll just find some sort of embellishment or circle or something to cover up the back side of that when I do that week. So I'm pretty much, for my title card, just gluing down everything that I had originally there, but I think I'll try and use a little bit of this scrap of polka dot paper. Well, one, because I love the colour of it, it's so pretty, but also just to tie the two, sort of the top and the bottom of this page together a little bit more. And then there was this label that I had stuck down to put my date stamp on, so I'm just going to do my date stamping, and it's slightly smaller probably than most of the labels I normally use, so I was just making sure that actually the whole date stamp was going to fit in there, and then just doodle a little heart in between the 2 dates. And then I can just really simply add my alpha stickers. So this was such a great sheet of alphas, this one. Like, they were just a really pretty teal color, and the size is just perfect for Project Life. And as you can see, I've already done I think 2 or 3 weeks using this kit, and so there was still ease, so I could do one more. That's the thing I struggle with the most, I guess, is never having enough ease. So the fact that this one did was just awesome. And then again, to bring the stitching up to the top, I'm just going to stitch through those letters, also because they are quite small, so I want to make sure they do stay stuck down. I'm sort of thinking this is close to being done, but that sort of top photo, I just really wanted to put something on it, and nothing really stood out to me. And then I realized that one of these cork pieces, which I had originally just sort of set aside because they weren't suitable, actually did suit this, because it says sweater weather, and I mean, November, we're almost into summer here, so I had never thought that that was going to be appropriate, but actually we had a real cold snap and a few days of really shitty weather, so it actually worked out perfectly. And then for the bottom photo, I wanted to add something sort of label-y looking, and I had this gathering stamp set from the same month, and I know that that had a label stamp in it because I had used it a few times as well. So I'm just going to stamp that with some pink ink, and the first stamping I did is really bad, so I decided to risk it and try a double stamp, which worked much better. Just to bring some of that pink from the left side over to the right. There wasn't really a lot on the right that has pink in it, apart from maybe my husband's head there, so the label worked really nicely, and I was going to stamp Good Times on there, but that card I've used already says Good Times and I didn't want to repeat it, so I've chosen a different stamp and then decided I'll just carry on stamping here rather than writing just little notes of journaling. So I'm adding a second one onto my photo there, which was the start of December daily. And then I decided I would use the Good Food stamp under my food photo, and then that is it. So because I'm in catch-up mode for Project Life, I'm keeping things super simple, and this week that meant stamping rather than journaling. If you want to keep watching, there's a couple more videos on screen. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time. Bye!